one. What's poppin', Yanko?
What's happening, Kerri? What's up? What's
Episode
up?
108 of For No Particular Reason. I'm
That's right.
blown away by the fact that we've been chatting it up for 108 weeks, which is pretty impressive. I am Kerri Lewis, along with my amazing co-host Yanko, and we are here every Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Central, and 8 a.m. Pacific time to chat with you about everything, anything, nothing, and all the things in between. So Yanko was just telling me it's like 70 degrees over where he's at. Almost, wait, it's even more, right?
I know it's just the right weather,
I
and
know.
it's mind blowing that we're able to do that. Here we are on the same continent, and we're so much apart that the weather changes.
I know. I mean, look, it's sunny out, so I am glad. It's fire season, so I sit in front of the fire and zone out into the void of whatever.
Isn't that wonderful when you can get in touch with everything around you and just enjoy the moment and soak in all that fire smell from the burning fire pit and sounds gone around, maybe the fire it's crackling and all those other things. It just brings me right back into the body. It grounds me a lot. Um,
Well, I love that you brought that up because I brought somebody through an exercise yesterday. They had shared with me that they love to garden. And
yeah.
within the same conversation, they would tell me they don't have much to be grateful for. So I was like, can you want to just do a little experiment with me? And so I had them drop into their body, right, and get still. And then I had them really visualize being in the garden, smelling the minerals of the dirt and the water and grass under their knees and moving. And instantaneously brings you back to peace and to oneness. And that's what this season does for me, because everywhere I go, I'm just like, ah.
I know. The more you do it, the more you get in touch with all your other senses because the body gives you all that feedback with touch, smell, and it helps a lot to bring you back into the present instead of fantasizing about something else.
It's so funny. Do you see the light coming down above your head,
I
like
know, I
sparkling? It reminds me of
know,
firecrackers going off, or like the sparklies you
I
bang out
know.
when you during 4th of July. Does you like I love it. So it's awesome.
I mean, it is what it is. It's the joy of using a green screen in the background, and that green screen casting green, and you're sure
But it's
that it's
cool.
semi
I
green
like
and
it.
blue.
It's like you have a halo over your
I
head.
know, I know.
It's
Um,
pretty cool.
I probably do. I think a lot of people have halos if we sidetrack, but we're not just able to see them because of third eye and all that. But usually we're energy in motion. So chakras create energies, all that other stuff, and you have beautiful auras around you and different things.
Well,
So
let's talk about that, because in a lot of
okay,
different
okay,
scriptures, you see angels, you see Christ with a halo over his head. And it's so interesting because everybody's waiting for like this one individual to come down and cast upon us judgment day. But
yes,
the truth is we all have the ability to experience what Christ did while he was on this earth. We're no different than him. And
right,
that's why I love, one of the sayings I tell myself quite often throughout my day, because when I get caught up in ego, I might, I don't know, idolize somebody. And I always think to myself, worship no idols, none. No one, nothing. It doesn't matter who it is. I can have immense respect for the
right,
information and the wisdom that an individual shares, but to worship somebody is to put them above you, and we're all equals.
right. I mean, we went from the halo to something else, but that's really the idea that when everything is in balance, in your balance, and everything is in balance, the energy kind of there's this nice halo around you, and and you're right. That's why on some of the church, I don't know about the Catholic, but in the Orthodox, all the saints and everybody else have like that halo around them, around their head, with
Well, I mean,
the
even if you look at some of the most prolific um, teachers in recent history, like Paramahanda, Yogananda,
You're right. Yes, yes, yes. I forgot about that. I see it in some of the Indian writings and
yeah,
other. They have the halo, or
yeah.
the yogi sitting and meditating, and he has the halo around. And yeah,
And the thing is even if you can't see this, and this is for the listening audience, if you're like these two, it's a completely bononkers. The reality is it's a felt energy. You cannot not feel that, like, really. I don't know. It's such a playful. That's my experience. It's a very playful, childlike energy without this like dense, like ugh, feeling.
right, right. So it is what it is. I'm gonna have a halo for today.
I mean, it's so cool.
So
It's changing different.
I know.
There's
Hola, and we
purple days. Hola,
we
gracias
appreciate
for
we appreciate you
sharing.
guys joining
Yeah,
us. If you have any questions or thoughts, share them with us. That'll make it a lot more engaging and entertaining
yeah.
for us and you guys. So here we are. Um, but yeah, that's something that happens through as a side effect of going through or coming back to knowing yourself. That'll be the correct way to use to
Yeah.
say it.
Well, it's so interesting because I was having a couple different conversations with individuals over the past week and people that I've like shared my thoughts with. We've either worked together, whatever, and they've shared with me, I feel lighter. I feel more joyful. And it does, like, they can't conceptualize it, and that's the thing I really work with people to like understand. You don't have to, like, the truth is known to you. Our job is just to help you remember it, and real joy and peace is your natural state. So
Right.
for me, I just work to help individuals uncover that for themselves, i.e., somebody who feels like it's tough to find gratitude. If I can bring them into a state where they feel peace by doing something or cultivating in their mind's eye something that they already enjoy, that's a felt experience. And if they can have that experience once, it imprints on their subconscious, and they know they can have that experience again.
But that comes up more and more, even in we're not. It's known to everyone that the subconscious and it's doing things with how you operate in autopilot and how you take your thoughts for your own thoughts and act upon them and all that stuff. So I see it more and more people talking about it, and
For sure.
I kind of feel for it too, because once you sit in with yourself in peace, you're gonna find out that you're perfect, whole, and complete. In a while, that joy will come, and you'll recognize it. You'll recognize yourself by just sitting in silence and not allowing the mind to steal the pleasure out of you or go and take you on predicting the future or doing different things.
Well, first off, hello to Brittany. Thank you for joining. And is it Sadhu? Yeah, I'm
Salut,
butchering that.
salut.
Sorry. Um, I'm from Connecticut, America. And you are from where?
America, America. Yeah,
America.
America. I had to do it because it
Do it.
brings me so much joy and fun, and I'm laughing. Yes, Yes. Uh, yeah. So I am from Bulgaria, born and raised up there, but then migrated to the States, and I'm currently in the greater Chicago area. So hopefully that'll answer your questions. And you keep bringing your questions and participate, and that'll make it a lot more fun. Give us something to talk about.
Well, so why don't you share with the listening audience what it is that you find passion and purpose in doing with individuals?
I do hypnosis. I'm a hypnotist, or when I play that role, of course.
I know, you
Because
know, it's
we keep
getting more and more
changing.
interesting when people
Uh,
ask me what I do. You know, I it's very broad and it feels elusive to people, but I really do use my language to say I co-create with creation. I'm a creator. Because in this moment I could be having conversation with you and creating this show and this podcast. I could be singing, I could be holding space for
right,
somebody. You know, I do a myriad of different things depending on the moment. And so, you know, for the sake of the collective, I share with people that I work in addiction and mental health recovery, but for the sake of my own understanding, my sole job is to exist in love and to play with that, right? To when you experience, to what Brittany said, you know, Jesus loves us. Yeah, but we Jesus exists in all of us. Christ consciousness, that like energy that was cultivated by Yeshua, is accessible to everybody when you learn how to access it. And once you do that, you can I mean, you're co-creating anyway, but you can mindfully and with
right.
intention co-create experiences that feel really, really joyful for you, which is what I do quite often, as many people see in my life.
I won't say that. Well, I use the techniques that are known to hypnotists to guide people within themselves and to find what they're looking for, like deeper answers about themselves, or be able to change something that they're not even aware of. Because once they get in that space, they can connect with the subconscious or deeper mind or whatever you want to call it, and brings things that they haven't been aware of that made him go to different motions and asking, why am I keep going through the same thing over and over again without even knowing, and trying to like put it into a concept or make some kind of realization based on whatever else it's going on. But once they connect with that part, they go like, oh, now I see why I've been doing this, or and then they can change it. And the change is actually um, possible, because now you're not dealing with whatever you think it is. You're actually dealing with the actual thing that it's making you go through the process, whatever that is. um, but it could be breath work, it could be drumming circles, it could be anything could put you in that state. So it's not magic, it's nothing woo
Well, and
woo out
here's the
there.
thing, what I've come to understand for myself is, do you know humming can immediately put you back into alignment, singing? And you know why?
Yes,
Because we seek sound healing and, you know, water, which is a great way to get back into alignment, but all these different external sources, but your own voice is your perfect vibration. So if you right, you're literally bringing yourself back into alignment just by giving yourself permission to hum or to chant something that feels in alignment for you. And the trick is to give yourself permission, because so many people, right? I could be at the grocery store and I'd be called to hum, but then I'm like, oh my God, they're going to judge me. And so I don't do the thing that feels natural for me. And so I encourage people, do the thing that feels natural to you outside of the good opinion of anybody else, because that's what you're being called to do in this moment. And you honor that.
I mean, everything it's vibration. We keep going back to that, and with sound, in that's why I'm seeing more and more. I don't know if other people are seeing it, but I'm seeing more and more people going back to tuning forks and other things to help change how they feel about things, or use different sounds, or um, singing balls and other things like Tibetan balls and things to put them in vibration that they want to be, that vibrates with them, or it's close to what they want to vibrate at. And one can achieve the same thing, as like you said, by just pronouncing a sound and moving that vibration through the body. You can, the actual om, when you start going with om and going to om, can move through the whole body, and you can feel the different parts vibrating as you're changing the tones,
A hundred
which is
percent.
awesome.
It's very cool. And for anybody who's like, nah, I don't know what they're talking about, try it. Like try it and you'll see, because I did an exercise years ago in my car that Eckhart Tolle had shared with his community, and it's to prove the fact that we're energy. When you're at a red light, just feel into your body. Just feel your body. And you'll start to feel like tingling sensation. Like you'll feel the
Mhm.
fact that you vibrate. Now, it may be very, very subtle, especially if you exist in a dense energy.
Right.
However, it exists and you feel it. And as you play with that and you suspend what you think you know and give yourself permission to try new things, that vibration is felt more powerfully. And then you just keep playing with it and playing with it and playing with it, and in that you're aligning yourself. You really are your own healer. You just have to give yourself permission to be that for yourself, and that's where people kind of are still caught up in old paradigms where you have to seek external sources, you have to seek whatever in order to help you fix the problem, and you don't, you know you really don't.
Well, it's kind of a mind thing, again, because the mind does try to find resolutions to problems, like math occasions, or 2 plus 2 4, and so on. You keep looking at different things, and the mind grabs all those symptoms of whatever you want to call them, and then it makes a conclusion based on that, and then it takes it and runs with it. But that's never really the truth. If you go deeper into making an assumption, you're going to find out that you don't really know. You're just taking different facts, different things, and you're turning it into something that it's not really it. Um, so going back to just being in the present and feeling in it without involving a lot of your mind will give you that option to get in touch with yourself more.
Yeah, 100%.
And this is why some people might even experience the notion of like moving when they sit to meditate, and they start deepening their meditation, or having movements going, or like feeling like they're spinning and things like that, because you're getting more in touch with what is and what moves you.
Well, it's so interesting. I sent somebody I love very much this clip that I came across on Instagram, which I loved, which is the energy that you surround yourself can either heighten your connection to source, whatever you like that
Right.
comes to mind for you, or blocks. And like a low vibrating frequency can make it harder for you to have that connection. And so this is where I encourage people, look at the sum total of who you experience and do life with. And are they light? Are they joy filled? Are they fun and curious and optimistic and compassionate? Or are they, you know, angry or victimized and whatever, because you're impacted by that experience, and it does influence how you experience your own vibrational frequencies.
Yeah, yeah. We have a question from Sato. Have you ever tried going into the source of that vibration? So I'll let you take that, and then I'll pitch in.
Um, I mean, it's a vast, expansive unknown for me and my meditation at this point. I just vibrate. I guess I don't go into it kind of like lets me know pieces as I get deeper into my own meditative practices and go into altered states of consciousness. So I can't say that I've gone directly to the source. I just experience what comes up for me in meditation as it comes up without striving for something, because I know it will find me, if that makes
Right.
sense.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say that first of all, there's no you, which is a concept. You that's you going into that vibration. That's never gonna happen. You can go anywhere and come back, or do anything and reach anything. um, but yeah, you there's the vibration, and that's it. Um, there is the perception of separation between you and vibration, but ultimately, um, the more you try to go into it, the more you become it. I hope that answers your question, and you follow
Well,
up
you
and let
don't
us know.
become it. You experience the truth that you already are it. It's not.
Yes, yes,
The separation is needing to conceptualize anything. Um, to create a story or problem solve. There's no problem to be solved at all. And that's where it can feel really hard for people to grasp this thought process or understanding or wisdom or knowledge that Yanko and I speak about, because our brain wants to make it tangible. It wants to
yeah.
make it so we can relate to it from a past experience we've had, right? And that's why any of the great teachers of this wisdom will tell you all you need is the present moment, right? The present moment makes the past obsolete, it ceases to exist. And you are, to what Yanko was saying earlier, whole, healed, and complete. Like you're just whole, you're in it, you are vibration, you are the experience, you are the experience of the experience and the whatever. So you
The
just,
knowledge of the experience, the
yeah,
triad.
yep, 100%.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting that we have that perception of duality to be able to experience ourselves. That's how I'm gonna say it. To be able to be the subject object in the object of knowledge, or the knower, the known in the knowledge, to have that separation of the process.
And,
And
that was a
yeah,
wonderful question from you. So thank you for asking that. And Yanko and I, right, we seek knowledge too. We're constantly reading books but even as I'm taking in this knowledge, I kind of laugh at myself because I know that I'm seeking what is already known. So it's like this paradox, because I'm like,
right.
well, this is interesting. I know it, but I'm seeking to know it, which is silly, but it is the ego. It is the play of the mind. And as long as you start to learn that, you don't take life so seriously. And that's really where I work with people, is to how do you incorporate more fun into your experiences, because fun it keeps you light and it keeps you in a high vibration naturally. So all the things you think you have to figure out, your finances, your marriage, how to raise your kids, what you're going to eat for dinner, the more you stay in a high vibration, you just it all unfolds for you. You don't have to figure it out. It's just like you're just floating through life, and it's like, oh yeah, blah, and oh yeah, that worked out, and oh, I
Yeah.
didn't have to think
You,
about
you,
this.
you're in the world, but you're not from the world. Let's
Yes,
put it that way. You participate, but you don't have an expectation how things are gonna unfold, or you don't do it like you're gonna bear fruit out of your action. You don't
yep,
like plan to get something in return. You're just doing it because that
because it brings you
feels what
joy.
it is. Yeah.
Because it brings you
And
joy.
to your
Yep,
point, I read books too. I constantly read books. I'm kind of like you, um, but it brings me joy, and that's the idea. It's kind of like dancing. There's no point to dancing. You're just in the moment. You're moved by the music. You're enjoying yourself. The body does whatever the body does. You're totally in the moment and you enjoy it, and that's it. You're not doing it to move from the one side of the dance floor to the other side, or who's gonna move faster to the one side to the other, or whatever. Again, you can turn it into something like a contest
I
in
was
dual
just thinking to
stereotypes
myself,
and
because
other
once
things like
the
that.
ego kicks in, and then you see somebody doing like a double plie, bloop bloop,
Right,
and
right,
then
right,
another
right.
individual is like, oh, I gotta one up them.
But
and
that's
and
the
also
ego. That's the thing that steals the joy. You gotta up it up again.
yeah, instead of just having the experience that you're having,
Right.
100%. Yep,
So you're reading the book just for the sake of, like, I don't know. When I read with myself, everything kind of shuts off. I'm in the story, and everybody likes nice stories, and this is it. It just it's like watching TV or something else. It brings you joy.
yep,
So
100%. And there's no right or wrong, there your joy is so personal. I like to sing, and I like to go for walks, and I like to paint and do random things, but that may not be what brings somebody else joy, and that's perfectly natural. Like, there's 8 billion plus creations of the creator, right? And so we're all meant to have different experiences of what brings us joy, but can you give yourself permission to have that joy? Because I see so often adults, in particular, teenagers as well, kind of convince themselves that they're not meant to experience joy, that they need to take life seriously, that they got bills to pay, and I gotta be a husband to my kid, wife, and all this stuff. So it's challenging those concepts is very important.
I mean, it can brings you back in the present. I I had a similar thought. Um, I have a storage unit where keep things because there's no space in the house, and I had to move it because they kept raising the price. And as I was going through the motion of moving the thing, I was just like, there's no point of the whole thing. It's just all made up. Moving the unit from one place to another place is part of the game. As I'm just going and deep into like kind of presence is like, why am I even doing this?
Yep, a
Yeah.
100%.
So
Elbow cough. I have no idea what that means. Do you?
it's probably some kind of emoji because he has the things, but it's not showing up.
Oh, see, this is where being a tech guy comes into play, because I wouldn't have had known that.
I mean, because you can write emojis with whatever you feel like, excited, and put it in the thing will bring up the emoji. But our streaming software does not display emoji, so it puts it into text. So there
Oh,
you go.
see, you learn something new every day.
Yes, yes, yes. So, where are we going with this? I lost track.
Yeah,
I
it happens.
know. Let's see what else gonna come up. But yeah, changing happens not only with affirmations, but also who you surround yourself with. Because you can be affirming to yourself different things the way you want to change, but it'll take a while until everything changes around to reflect of what you want to change, to be able to affirm back to you and show you what's happening on outside. It's a faster way to change. It's to be mindful who you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
Also, that
And
could be a
that's
helpful tip.
and that's the thing is, this is where I would encourage a listening audience. We experience the sum of our belief systems and our thoughts. And so many of us, myself, I can speak for myself, was brought up in an environment where it was really negative. It was a fear based narrative that was pretty pervasive around money, around relationships. And so when I started to do this work and recognizing that, what I believed created my external experiences, I started to shift my thoughts, but my external experiences weren't changing. And this is where it's uh blind faith, right? Having faith because you don't see or experience the results right away. But if you keep if you keep mindful of how you're thinking about yourself, you're mindful about what it is you want to experience, and then start to become aware of what is in your experiences that contradict what it is you want to feel and achieve, then you'll start to see that shed, and different individuals will come into your experience, and that will support the changes that you're having around your belief systems.
Right? Yeah. But it all comes down to what you're saying. Suspend any judgment or whatever expectation the mind might throw at you. In this goes with the verse, I walk in the valley of the shadow and I fear no death, or
Though I
what it
walk in
was.
the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil.
Yeah, because the mind will give you all the negatives, all the right reasons not to do something, or what to expect or what to do in certain situation. But if you suspect all the judgment or everything that comes up, and you just go like, well, let's find out. Let's see what comes out of that. Then you'll be surprised to find out that everything unfolds. Oh, okay, and there was no need to panic or do anything crazy in that moment. It was just how it should have unfolded.
That's why the one of the greatest practices I have is anytime I feel myself experiencing resistance, I just say I suspend what I think I know and I'm open to the highest good for all. Because it's so easy for us to, oh, that the tickets were sold out to the concert I wanted to go to, right? And so it's easy to make up a story, or judge, whatever. But if I'm like, I suspend what I think I know and open to the highest good of all, I guarantee you I'm going to that concert. I don't know how, but it always works out because it's not a selfish I really do want what's in the best of the collective. And also, if it doesn't work out the way my ego thinks it needs to, I also trust that it's working out in ways that I can't maybe understand, but is good for all involved.
Right. I mean, I won't go to the extreme to say that I'm going to the concert because, again, I don't know. Like, I can put it out there, but it could be in the best interest for me not to be there at that moment.
100%.
Maybe it could be in the best interest for me to be in a park talking to somebody that could, you know, possibly change the future of how they're gonna go about their life.
Well,
or
I'll use a real example. So Nana and I have tickets to go to New York in May around my birthday because he is a guest at a con convention. And I found out my daughter's prom was that Friday. And so at first, like my ego kicked in and was like, up, I gotta choose. And then I'm like, nah, this is gonna work out the way it's meant to work, and it's gonna work out. And it's working out that I'm able to be available and watch my girls get ready for and go off to prom. And then me and Nana are gonna make our way to New York. And so if I had allowed my ego to take control of the situation, I could have created resistance or
not only
suffer.
that, it could have unfolded in many different ways. That's
Yes.
like planting the seed and taking it out and saying, "Is it germinated yet? Oh, let's plant it back in. Oh, is it germinating yet?" I keep going back and like poking and meddling with whatever it's unfolding. It's just gonna unfold the way it's supposed to.
Well, that's also why it's really clear. It's important to get clear on what you want, right? So, and that takes practice because you need contrast, right? You have to have experiences around what you don't like to know what it is you do like. And that takes, having the experiences. But I do often see people, they want something different, but it feels so scary and so hard to achieve that they're like, no, I'll just stick to this because this is known. And no, I'm going to go for this, but no, I'm going to go back. And this is what I encourage people: reach big. Go big, right? This is where vision boards, and I encourage people to like have these great goals or dreams for themselves, and then don't worry about how it unfolds. Just put it down and get clear about it, and just say, hey, I don't know how it's going to happen, but this is what I want. And things will start to unfold so that that's exactly what you achieve.
Right. We love you too, whoever you are and where you are. We appreciate you sharing
We
energy
do.
with us.
I love you as you love me. We're one big happy family. I'm singing a song because I'm in glee with your note of love, you see. So let's be silly together, because life is not meant to be serious. And in this beautiful weather, I'm going to shut up there because I ain't got nothing else.
I'm sure you could have continued on, more
I could have,
inspiration
but
coming
yeah.
in, because the more you do it, the better you get at it, the more you get
Oh,
in
I know.
flow.
Trust me,
Yeah.
I sing all the time. This is a really good point to the listening audience. Every time my ego tells me a story, I sing to it. Oh, I'm catching you in the story that's not really real. Like the minute I catch myself, because then I make it funny. And I'm not judging myself for whatever it is that I'm thinking. And I sing back to it and I immediately feel better. And that's why I can sing randomly out of nowhere and take anything in my experience and pull it, because I do it all the time in my head to challenge, you know, ego, which is from my experience. So, ego in my life has played the greatest part in fear. It's all about fear. It's keeping you in fear, stuck in that low vibration of control and needing to understand. And so, if I can sing to it, it pulls me out of like this cycle that I could fall into, which is control, which causes me to be in fear.
Yeah. I usually just laugh because
I
I'm
know.
like, oh, I catch you there. I'm like, oh, I see what you did there.
Yep.
Good try.
Yeah. But it's interesting because I still occasionally catch myself judging myself for
Of course.
egoic thinking.
Of
And so
course.
when I
Yeah.
sing, there's no judgment. I'm just like, whatever, you know?
Yeah. I mean, once you get into different thoughts and different things, and you make it into a habit, and it becomes your reality, and until somebody reflects it back and you see it and recognize it, then you can't change it. And it's the knower inside you, not the thoughts, not the internal dialogue or anything. Because like, who recognizes that? You know, when thought comes in and you say, I have a thought, but who's having the thought? Who's recognizing the thought and seeing the thought and all that stuff? And that's why you there is the recognition of like what's going on in the programs when they happen and you reflect it and somebody reflects it back to you and you have that aha moment. That's the most important moment when you take it, recognize it, and what you do with it to change it afterwards. So yeah.
Yeah. Or not. I mean, I watch people have aha moments, but then that unknown feels so scary for people. It's, and I get it. But there is a life, death, rebirth cycle. Like it just that's the so everything is unfolding and then going back into nothing, unfolding and going back into nothing. And so when you can give yourself permission to understand that that is just inherent in our makeup, then it's easier to give yourself the permission to take action on that aha moment.
Yeah.
And
The
if you don't
fear.
take action, the thing is you contract more, and that same insight will play itself out again until you have it again, and you are able to take action on it.
Yeah, eventually you're gonna hit rock button to have that aha moment or whatever when you actually stop and you're like, whoa, that's something's going on here. You know, that kind of like a reflecting moment of like, something has to change. I can't keep going that way or whatever thought comes up on that moment.
Yeah.
Um and it's funny with the fear though. I see it around and it freezes people because of the unknown and like what might come out of whatever that moment is. It's just like it's like face your fears. That's the best thing you can do. Go through it. Go directly to it. Don't fear it because chances are it's probably nothing. It's
Yeah.
just all in here. You all imagined it.
Well, a lot of it has to do with this idea of rejection or separation or feeling alone. And the more you lean into to what Yanko was saying, being with yourself, you realize one, you're never alone. You're in shared
Right.
energy, even if you're in a
Thank
room by
you.
yourself or
That
in the
that's
woods.
yeah. That's 100%.
And so that's really helpful. And then also this idea of being rejected. Yes, that is a real thing. People struggle to be in spaces with me because I'm positive, and if they're really in a negative space, there's just so much contrast that feels really icky to them. And I know
Well,
because
it
I
might not
remember
even feel
Yanko.
real to them. It might not really
It
make
feels
make
fake,
real to them.
exactly. So when
Yeah,
I was
they'd be
drinking
like, "What
heavily,
is he talking about? He's just a fake guy talking about something that never exists. Like,
yep,
what are you talking about? Why are you laughing? This is a serious matter.
I know it's so true. But then the thing is,
Why are
like,
you laughing?"
I was that person. I would watch these happy people and I'd be like, they so full of shit. I was such a hater. And so
Yeah,
when people have that reaction to me now, I get it. I really do. And that's completely okay. And so I welcome being rejected, not because I don't love those individuals. I love them immensely, but they're not part of the experience that I want to have now. And it doesn't mean that I can't appreciate who they are and what value they brought to my life, but I would rather be rejected so that I can attract what feels better for
right.
me in
Be
my life,
yourself.
in my
Yeah,
experience, rather than hold on tightly to something that doesn't make me feel good just because I know it or it feels familiar. And
or
then,
because it
the
feels good
universe
for
won't
somebody
accept it.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean that comes down to like knowing yourself. When you know yourself, there's no need to look for outside to complete
Validation.
yourself
Yep.
because you're whole and complete. You don't need somebody to be your soulmate. You don't need somebody to go in a concert with you to make you whole and complete. You don't need somebody to, you know, be constantly next to you to make you complete. Um, then you actually share because of the sake of sharing, and you're sharing your joy. You're not sharing it in order to get something in return. You're not doing it to be something or to be somebody. You really don't care because you have it all and you don't need whatever that is.
I mean, it's so interesting how the world reflects back because Nan and I are both people who will go out to eat by ourselves and things of that nature. And just recently, Nana went to have Mexican food, and the waiters were asking him if everything was okay because he was there by himself. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm hungry. I want to eat
Well,
Mexican."
I appreciate that you brought this up because you see that a lot because now the I think I don't know if it's 100%, but most of the consciousness, most of the people are now getting mindful of their surrounding and looking to extend their help or help somebody else that might be in need. Because that happens to me too. 2 weeks ago, I'm walking in this corridor and I'm just walking for the sake of walking. There's nothing going on. There's no like internal thoughts going on or anything. And then this person walks ahead of me, it looks at me and says, "Are you okay? Do you need something?" And I kind of laughed and smiled and I said, "Why won't be I okay? I'm perfectly fine." It looks like you had something in your mind or you're deep in thought. And I said, quite possible, the quite opposite. I had nothing in thought. Like there was just walking happening. There was nothing else going on. But he was just concerned and I appreciated it. And I said, because he alluded to something like that maybe because there was no expression in my face. Maybe I look like I'm down or something. I don't know how I look to him, but it was like sometimes people, you know, if there's something going on, I'm just asking because like we can talk about it or something. And I was like, I appreciate it. You're extending your gratitude and asking if I'm okay and all that. But I said the reality of things is that I'm perfectly fine. It's just happening that it's happening.
Yep. Well,
Yeah,
it's so interesting you say that because no act of love is ever wasted. And I get this a lot. I talk to individuals who may not have spoken to a family member in a while, or, they see somebody struggling, but they don't want to get involved to upset the person. And I'm like, no act
right.
of love is wasted. So even if I don't know, offer food to a homeless person and they reject it because they want money, that extension of myself to this individual is still an expression of love. It's a connection of love between the two of us. It doesn't matter how the other person receives it. And so I really encourage people, if your heart is called to do something, but your ego tells you, oh, no, you don't want to do that. You don't want to get involved, or you could get rejected, or something bad could happen. I'd say listen to your heart because you're being guided to crack open into a deeper understanding of yourself, which your inherent nature is unconditional love. It really is.
Yeah, but again, I'm seeing it more and more when before what I was saying is that that team, even on TV and movies and things being promoted, is that if they see you that you're struggling, they won't help you. They'll kick you down even more to make themselves feel better. The opposite way of how things are unfolding now. So, just
Well,
personal
it's interesting
observation.
because you and I attract love, so we would see that. I do, and I don't know. Maybe this is universal for the collective rising of consciousness because it is happening. No matter what, people can have resistance to this, but we've entered a golden age. Like we will see the collective consciousness shift into freedom from fear and love. Like that's just it's happening. But if people hearing this aren't witnessing that, ask yourself how you show up as love, how you show up in service, because you attract what you are. So you and I experience that all the time. Me and Nana played with this theory in New York City last year, where he said, "Oh, we're in New York, and everybody's too busy to help." And I said, "I don't believe that at all." And within a minute off the train, we were getting help, right? But it's because that's what I understand to be truth, and so I experience that truth back to me.
Yeah. This is why I think that the more you get to what it is, then everything becomes malleable. Like it always reminds me of that scene of the Matrix where that little guy holds that spoon and it's bending and goes like, "There's no spoon," And I'm like, yes. You
Well, I
can.
mean that's a beautiful way to like wrap up this show is nothing is fixed. If you feel like you're having experiences that feel really hard and you're stuck and you have no way out, you're not. You may need support for sure. Somebody who has navigated that same experience. Yanko, myself, many people, Gail Craft. There are at least 1 million people now who have achieved enlightenment on this planet. They've been able to measure, and I would venture to say even more. That's just what they've been able to quantify. So, you know, reach out to somebody who you're called to help you feel get into these practices so you don't feel stuck, because you're not, and it is all malleable and you can play with it and you can try new things, and if that doesn't work you go back and try something else, and it's all about you giving yourself permission, and then once that happens things will start to shift on their own, and then you just seek support in that shift.
Wonderful. Couldn't say it better. I love
Yeah,
it.
what? And I love it, the halo. Yanko with your halo. We're gonna sign off this week, So until next time, keep on thinking instead of wondering who you are. I don't know. Yeah, that one dropped, but that's cool.
I
Let's
don't know.
go.
I've been thinking about it too, and opening him who you want to be, and then I'm thinking, well, it could spin many different ways: to be or not to be, or who you want to be. Do you want to be? Do you not want to be? All those different things.
It's true. And you get to be whoever you want in this moment. And
Yes.
no matter
Yeah.
what you decide, if it feels good for you, that honors your spirit, that
Right.
honors your soul, and you can never go wrong honoring your soul, even if it doesn't make sense to anybody else.
You're not gonna make everyone happy. That's the
Hell
fact.
no.
You're not gonna make everybody happy. So might as well be your favorite person. Make yourself happy. Align with the people that align with you, because we're not supposed to be all the same.
Nope.
We're supposed to be unique, our own selves.
Real talk. Until next time, guys, this is No Particular Reason with Yanko and Kerri, and we appreciate all of the love, all the comments, all the views. If you like what you saw, please share it. And if that doesn't feel good for you, then don't. Either way, me and Yanko are going to coast along our way, and we
That's
appreciate you
right.
with love.
We're just gonna do what we do, and what happens happens, and it's a one big doing or happening.